Oh, what's going on, guys? I'm going to give you guys just a few seconds to get popped on. I know this is unannounced. I'm going to jump on Instagram real quick while everybody's coming on and make an announcement real quick. What's going on, everybody? Give me just a second. I'm making the old Instagram announcement. All right, done. What's going on? Hey, man. Hey, Matt. What's going on? Vince. Hey, brother. Saw you on the beach today. I don't know if that was a new picture or an old one. David, Jacob. What's going on? I haven't done one of these since Ryan passed away, so this is kind of tough for me. But we're figuring we jump in and go ahead and do this. My internet went down the last few days, so I haven't been able to upload any videos, and I've been kind of getting caught up with chores around the house. Having 8.5 acres worth of a farm is a lot of work at times. So, very cool. What's up, everybody? Dang, what's up, DJ? How's it going, man? Kayak, oh, Chad says, or Chad or Christy says, tell them about Bienville. That's what we're going to do. We're going to start off with a little bit of housekeeping, kind of get you guys up to date on what's going on. We got some really cool things planned in the next few months. One is Bienville Plantation. Last year in January or in December, Chad and I did a seminar, and it's a kayak fishing seminar at Bienville. This year's a little bit different. We're doing two sessions. Going to have only 10 people per session, so it's a lot more one-on-one, one-on-five, whatever. You guys get to go fishing with us. We sit down, we talk about fishing, how to locate them. We've got a ton of things to cover over a few days, a few-day period. So it should be fun. Should be fun. Hey, Christy. All right, so number two, Bienville is also having a concert next month. You'll see it on my Instagram coming the next couple of days. I'll make that announcement, but it's called Party in the Pines. It's a huge country concert. It's got a ton of top shelf country artists and things like that. So they want me to since I'm kind of partnered with them through Kayak, they kind of want me to help them promote that. But you guys look at that. Go look at Bienville Plantation's website. You'll be able to look for that. It's a really cool concert, and it's not going to be overpriced. So, and they're actually having a sale right now on tickets. And let's see what else is going on. Mr. Tacavox is having another tournament in October. I don't know if they want me to tell you guys the location yet, but so I'll hold off on that. But it's a YouTube tournament. Hopefully the Googans show up this time. It'll be pretty neat to have them along and be able to have a pretty fun little kayaking and or not kayaking, fun little tournament. Sorry, I'm reading two or three things at a time. Hey, Daniel, what's going on, man? Hey, I appreciate it, man. That's awesome. And then there's Special Ops Survivor. That Special Ops, no, I kind of threw that on top of everybody. I kind of didn't really announce it until it was time. But Special Ops Survivor is a nonprofit that I've been involved with for a couple of years. And yeah, Lake Fork guys should be there too. I'm sorry. And so it's a nonprofit organization called Special Ops Survivors, and they help wives and children of special op guys who've been killed overseas. They help them get back on their feet. And man, what a great organization. They really do make a huge impact in these women's lives, and nothing better. Thanks, Alex, brother. Appreciate it. Than supporting them. So it's awesome. And it is, yes, it's a great cause. What an amazing group of people I've gotten to know over the years. I'm trying to think of anything else. There's really not a whole lot. We've got some really cool stuff I want to tell you, but I got to keep it secret for just a little bit longer. But exciting things that are going to go into next year and the year after. Partnering with Chad Hoover has been one of the best things I've ever done. Yes, I'm kissing his butt right now. So I mean, it should be really, really awesome. What are some tips for Chickamauga? I know the north end, the grass is really good. The south end, last I heard, I haven't been up there in a couple of weeks, but the grass hasn't come in real good. So you're going to be fishing submerged grass. The fish are still there, but you're not going to get that topwater bite that like everybody's used to. So I'm going to be spending the next several weeks on Gunnersville, getting ready for the Spro Frog tournament in October. Have I ever fished Notley? No. Do I miss Lake Oconee at all? Not really. A lot of people ask me why I don't fish Georgia lakes, because they pretty much suck compared to Tennessee River and that kind of stuff. The Georgia's Fish and Wildlife Commission has not done a really good job of managing lakes. They just want to put in boat ramps, and so it's kind of tough to find a lake that you can count on day in and day out. If you're new to sonar, how to know if you're set up correctly? Maybe too complicated without a visual. Yeah, it's one of those things I'm working on. I'm working on a business deal with a electronics company right now. As soon as we're done with that, I'm going to start busting out some electronic stuff. But let's see. Somebody asked, what's up with mine and Chad's weigh-ins and 10-pounders? Who's winning? We kind of had to put that aside. Travel tends to put the pounds back on us, and both of us have been traveling like crazy. What are the best baits for Lake Lanier? A newbie question. My favorite bait for Lake Lanier is either a drop shot in the summertime, because I usually only fish it in the summertime, or a topwater bait. And my favorite topwater bait is a clear Super Spook Junior. That water's so clear you don't want them to get a good look at it. Have I done the differences, video about the differences between fishing line? Yes, go look at my my For Beginners playlist, video playlist. You'll find it in there. I need to do another one though, because that one's old. Let's see. What's my personal best is 10 pounds, 12 ounces. I caught it in Alabama. Yeah, Chad says he's back losing pounds. I am too. I went back on my diet this last week. And been doing okay with it. Haven't been doing much traveling, so we'll find out. I've got a different thing. It's something else I'm doing with meals for traveling. So, Fluke, as a first tournament, what part of a lake area would you pursue first? If I'm pre-fishing, I'm going to go to the south end, or the one end of it, and then I'm going to go to the other end of it. Thanks, Daniel, brother. I appreciate it. I'll read that one in just a second. Hold on. And I'm looking for the biggest concentration of bait fish. And once I find, and I literally go from one end to the other, up big creeks and everything else, and I'm going to look for concentration of bait fish, and then that's going to eliminate the rest of the lake, and I'm going to spend my time on that half of the lake and kind of whittle it down and whittle it down. It's all about where the bait fish are. Daniel says, love you to death, brother. I've learned so much from you, and I'm still learning tight lines. We are Texas strong here after Hurricane Harvey. Good, brother. Stay strong, brother. We're looking at this new hurricane coming in, too. I've been to a lot of hurricane cleanups. You guys got a lot going ahead of you. I'm either going to be going there, or it looks like I might be going to South Florida in a few weeks. I do hurricane cleanup. I mean, I've been to Katrina, went to Andrew, went to, what was the one in South Carolina years ago? Hurricane Hugo. I was at that cleanup long time ago. Any tips on fishing, say, rock pebble bank that is a flat, because that is all I could find at Kentucky Lake without a graph or the ledge of fishing? I love to crank those with square bills or deeper diving crankbaits. Just bang it off of it. And other good bait is a good shaky head. I would like to fish with you sometime, Clark Hill, or I'm willing to travel. Yeah, I haven't been to Clark Hill in a long time, man. Not since I moved from there. I moved away from Clark Hill for a reason. Steven, what's up, man? Steven Walden's a good friend of mine. So, good to see you, brother. Good old brother from another mother. He's a fellow veteran. I've caught 5-pound bass on my baitcaster, and your tips have helped me. Cool. I'm glad I have. Ace Thomas, how do you feel about tracker versus Illumicraft? I bought a tracker, but your new Illumicraft looks awesome. I'm going to give you a comparison. It's my honest comparison. I've been in trackers. I've been, and I'm in a Illumicraft. The stability is what beats a tracker when it comes to to that between Alumacraft, plus the quality and the thickness of aluminum. But the Alumacraft, you're not fishing the center of the boat. With a tracker, you find yourself fishing dead center because it's real wobbly, especially if you're fishing with somebody else. So stability, it's one solid ride. So what they've done with Alumacraft is they have the hull is one solid piece. There's no welds. The only weld is along the outside edge where you bring the seams together. But the whole hull is one solid piece of aluminum, so that relieves a lot of flex. It's that flex that causes the vibration that destroys your back, and it makes it feel like a rough ride. So that's what's huge about Alumacraft. I love my boat. Boy, I must have ate too much dinner. I don't think I did. I just had a whole bunch of sunflower seeds. Yeah, Chad and I could flip a tracker. It's not stable. It's not a stable fishing platform comparative to the Alumacraft. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Let's see. The best reel, help me pick the best reel, Inception or Concept A for jog fishing. Well, you're talking two different price points. I'm assuming it says jig fishing. The Inception's a good reel, and it'd be an 8-1-to-1 would be really good jig reel if you're not going to fish heavy cover where 65-pound braid and you're going to need 20 some odd pounds of drag. The Concept A has got that beating the drag, but I mean, get what you can afford. The Inception is out of this world a good workhorse reel. It's worth $120 any day. So but the Concept A, that's my favorite reel. It really is. I love beating the snot out of them. Let's see. 2 bent rods. Thanks, man. Appreciate the donation. Any advice for new fishing channels? Keep up the great videos. Girlfriend and I have been fans of the channel for a long time. New fishing channels. The one word of advice I always give is don't give up. Start making videos. Let it evolve. Teach yourself as much as you can about videography, about editing. Get comfortable with your editing platform. I'm still not comfortable with mine. I still don't do those crazy things. But still continue to learn, continue to let it evolve, and you'll be all right. Man, I wish my son was reading all these things. I'm a slow reader, guys, so you have to bear with me. Hey, man, love your channel. I broke my foot, so I won't be doing much fishing. But anyways, good to know. What's your favorite winter, fall fishing lures or techniques? My favorite fall techniques is going to go back to the lipless crankbait moving baits. They're feeding up. They're going to be a little bit more aggressive. The fluke, the lipless crankbait, square bills, spinner baits, anything moving, I'm going to go all the way to the back of the creeks eventually. I'm going to work my way towards the back of the creek during the fall. The bass are going to end up being back there towards the end of the fall and absolutely be destroying any kind of a moving bait. So let's see. I caught my personal best on Inception. You gave me in Oxford, Alabama. Hey, dude, that's awesome. I remember giving you that reel. That's awesome. When I do seminars, I give away rods, reels, tackle, all kinds of other stuff. So I've got a seminar at Savannah College of Art and Design next week. I've seen you wear a Guilderland hat. I live in Guilderland. I don't wear a Guilderland hat. That's a Georgia Bulldog hat. Too funny. What size chatterbaits do I like to throw? 3/8 and 1/2 ounce are the only ones I throw. I can play around with depth from there. Let's see. Let's say you didn't look on the internet to see what kinds of forage is in a lake. Would you start with bluegill patterns or shad patterns? If it's a small lake, I'll start with the bluegill patterns. If it's a large lake in the south, I'm going to start with shad patterns. If it's a large lake up north, I'm going to start with minnow patterns, like long, narrow pattern or baits, like a jerk bait, like a narrow crankbait, something that matches the shape of the bait fish up there is what I'm going to do. So, any tips for storing spinner baits for bank fishing? Woo! I actually store them in Ziploc bags when I'm bank fishing. Just throw them in the Ziploc bag. Now, buzz baits don't quite work that good. You end up bending them and messing them up. But I'll throw them in like a regular worm bag. So thanks, Jeff, man. I appreciate it, brother. But that's the best way, and I still do that. Now, the one I have for my boat is the one made by Bass Mafia, the blade coffin. It's got little bags in it, but just throw them in a Ziploc bag. And if you want to organize them, throw your colors in different Ziploc bags. So, I don't know, Stephen, I don't know what Gagliardi's fluke setup is. I'll have to look and see. I've been so busy trying to get stuff done around here, getting my barn straightened up. I've still got 2 lights to replace. Several of my lights in my barn went bad this year, so it's something I've got to get caught up on. Yeah, Ziploc works for everything, Jason. You're right. What to look for in a fishing kayak? Boy, Chad's got a Kayak Bassin TV. You keep seeing his name popping up. He's got some really good videos on how to choose your kayak. The one thing I always say is try to get some seat time in some kayaks first. Get some ideas. Get some buddies that have them and ask them if you can just take their kayak out for 10, 15, 20 minutes, paddle it around. The worst mistake I did is I bought a kayak without doing that, and I fished out of it twice and sold it because it hurt my back so bad. By that time, I didn't have enough money to buy another one, so I just saved my money. And then the Hobie deal came along, and I had that Hobie for a short amount of time, and now I've got my Jacksons. So, Jacob, I don't have a favorite lure. His question is, what's my favorite lure to throw? I don't really have any favorites. I let the bass tell me what they want that day. I feel like if I have favorites, it will pigeonhole me and make it impossible for me to be able to figure out what the bass want. What kayak would you recommend for someone with a slight drop foot and their weight is off center and mostly to the right side? I'd say add some ballast to the other side of the kayak. That's kind of hard to tell. I don't know if you're serious or not, but if you are serious, I'd just add ballast to one side. Get up underneath and add some weight over there. There's some really good kayaks that can hold a lot of weight, as you can see with my Goliath grouper one. Boy, that was a fun fight. Any tips of lures for schools of bass feeding on big balls of microbait fish? Woo, man. That's one of the toughest things I've ever encountered in fishing is those small ones. But the spy bait, I made a video about it about 4 weeks ago. That spy bait, a clear spy bait, is awesome for that kind of stuff. Let's see. Would you get a fish finder for a 10-foot John boat? Yes, I used to have a fish finder for my 10-foot John boat. Get a portable one that just brackets onto the side, drops down in the back. So, Cassidy says she's going to get a Concept Z. Or am I going to get a Concept Z? Yes, I told them they were going to give me one for a short amount of time just to make a video of and everything else. And I told them to wait until Christmas when it gets closer to the time to come out. And I'm able to get one that I can keep and I can beat up and I can have a lot of fun. So sometime around Christmas, I should get at least one Concept Z. I'm looking forward to it. Like I say, I'm still a skeptic. I think it's an amazing concept, and I know that polymers have come a long way, and it's probably going to be just fine. I just want to be able to put one in my hand and just do what I do, and fish the snot out of it and see whether it really is worth all the hype. What's my favorite brand of lipless? Oh, it's going to have to be a red eye shad because I use them the most. It's usually the first one I grab. You can do a whole lot more with it. You can yo-yo it a little bit better. There's some like the Spro Uruku shad that yo-yos better, that falls without getting tangled up. But it just all depends on what I'm going to be doing with it. Have I tried the Whopper Plopper 110 yet? Yes, and I also just got a 190 that I'm going to be throwing quite a bit in the next few weeks. I'm excited about that. Am I going to replace all of my other 13 reels with Polymer bushings? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Like I said, I'm still pretty skeptical about it, so we're going to have to see. And perhaps. What's the best technique for a small pond? The biggest thing about small ponds is not really what the best technique is. What I've found about small ponds is that they have a lot of silty bottoms, so you don't really want to fish anything that's dead on the bottom like a jig or a Texas rig unless you're flipping into bushes and things like that. I would say a drop shot, something that's lightweight, a spinnerbait, some moving baits, that kind of things. Anything that'll keep it up out of that silt. So, my personal best is 10 pounds, 12 ounces. Hey guys, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, go ahead and click the subscribe button. You knuckleheads. Have I ever fished Kentucky Lake? Yes, I try to fish it a couple, two or three times a year. What's a good starter casting reel? The new Origins actually are really, really good for the price. They're kind of plastic. They don't really, you know, what 13's known for is making a reel that feels and fishes a lot better than how much you pay for it. The Origin is a little bit less than that. It still feels like about a $20 more, you know, type of reel. But for me, it's a great beginner reel. It's not going to foul up. It's got a great smooth drag. It's got a great casting system. And if you decide you don't like bait casters, you're not out a whole lot of money. So that's what I would recommend. So, have I ever fished Clear Lake in California? No, I have not fished California yet. I fished Oregon, but never California. Let's see. Favorite fall lure is going to have to be some type of moving bait. Square bill, lipless, or spinnerbait. Would love to have a meet and greet in Chickamauga. You know what? That's another thing I forgot to tell you guys. Anybody living in the Chickamauga area, let me pull up the email real quick, or my calendar. In a few weeks, the end of September, I'm doing a seminar with, come on, Speedy. Let me pull it up. Goodness gracious, why is it? Okay, with Hiawassee anglers. I can't remember where it's at. You'll see more about it, but Hiawassee anglers in Charleston, Tennessee is having. I'm doing a seminar with somebody else, and it's going to be a whole lot of fun. Anyway, you'll see more information about that. But it's the 28th of September in the evening, probably 6 or 7 o'clock in the evening. That's a Thursday. Have I fished Lake Martin in Alabama? Not in years and years and years. It's been a long time. I don't even remember what it looks like. Haven't fished Hartwell but once. How do you fish a swinging jig head? I fish it like a Texas rig. One thing, the advantage to a swinging jig head is that it doesn't get hung up as much. So it's a really good one for heavy, thick cover. Thanks, Mage. I appreciate it. Bought a 13 Fishing Defy spinning or shaky head mainly. Best $60 ever spent. Yeah, I tell you, man, their rods are incredible for the price. I mean, I am still blown away at some of the stuff that 13 can do. Yes, I'm sponsored by them. Yes, I love talking about them. But I tell you, if they were junk, I would not be talking about them. Matter of fact, I wouldn't even be with them. So, they make really good stuff. What is your favorite reel of all time? The Gen 1 Abu Garcia Revo. I still have some in a box. I don't want to sell them. I'm not giving them away. If this 13 deal goes away, I love those reels. They're just hard to find. The Gen 2s were not that good. The Gen 3s are even worse. But those Gen 1s were absolutely awesome. And I guess it's just because I used them so much. Anyway. Rocky Mountain tomorrow? No, I got a dentist appointment. I got the worst dentist on the planet, and he screwed up one of my teeth, and he's got to fix it tomorrow. So, no fun. What should I get as my first baitcaster? Get one you can afford. Get one that's good in quality. I would recommend just because I have one and I use it and I know how good it is, the 13 Fishing Origin A. It's a really good reel for the price, and it'll be one of, like I said, it'll be one of those that you can beat up, you can really learn really well, and it'll last you quite a while. So, what best combo for under $100 for a kid? I don't know. I don't know. I haven't looked at those combos for a while. I always tell people to go look at Bass Pro brands and Cabela's brands, because typically you can find a pretty good reel on an okay rod. The rods usually aren't that good, but the reels are usually pretty good for around $100 So, let's see. Fishing Lake Wylie this Thursday. No grass. Help. Where do I start? Start on points. That's where I always start, no matter what lake I'm on. I always start on a point somewhere that's close to deep water, and then I work my way back either into pockets or creeks, but always points. Can you use JJ's Magic on Z-Man's products? No, you cannot. Anything Elastec, you cannot use JJ's Magic on. It dissolves it. It's actually a pretty cool magic trick. You can make it disappear. But it's not a good idea. Oh, look at that sign behind me. Isn't that cool? My buddy Mike McKinstry, and you'll see it in the video because I'm going to do a video to thank him and thank John Larson who painted this one. Look. It's not on my wall yet, but anyway, you'll see this in a video. I got to get some hanging stuff with that. Anyway, so what is it? Basquatch Hunter, the guy I did a video with in Wisconsin earlier this year. He's the one that made that. It's made out of steel. It's an awesome sign. But anyway, you'll hear more about that later. What is the smallest size graph for up front? I don't know. I don't understand that question. It just all depends on what you can afford, I guess. Have you ever fished Lake Toho, and what are the baits you use in the summertime? I haven't fished Toho in the summertime. I fished it in the fall. Chad Hoover forced me to fish a Cinco, and that's what we ended up catching fish on. So I held a gun to my head, made me fish a Cinco. Horny toad to fluorocarbon leader or straight braid? Straight braid, because it's a reaction bait. The line really isn't going to make much of a difference because it's a topwater reaction bait. What temperature does the fall bass fishing usually start? It's hard to say. I usually start looking at the mouths of creeks when it gets into the 70s. 75, is usually when I start looking in the mouths of the creeks. What video editing program do I use? I use Adobe Premiere Elements. Any plans on making your logo a kayak sticker? I have stickers. I haven't got them available yet. My sister-in-law makes them for me, and I don't get very many of them. But that's in the works to have shirt stickers and all that other stuff for you guys. I just need to get my button gear and get onto that. So let's see. I'd love to do a collab with Alex Rudd and Jigging with Jordan. I'm not against doing anything with any LTB guys. I did one with Noah Piscatelli not too long ago. So let's see. What is my favorite brand of lure? I don't really have a favorite brand. I have ones I always seem to use. Zoom, Strike King, Biospawn, and Z-Man are the ones I use the most. They're the ones hanging on my wall in my barn. They're the ones I buy the most of just because those are the ones I'm most comfortable with. Let's see. Opinions on Megabass lures. They make really good lures. I just don't fish much of them. Years ago, I settled on Strike King. I told myself that I was just going to learn one brand of hard baits. And I picked Strike King because they're easy to find in stores. So if I need to replace something or whatever, they're not the best brand. They don't make the best crankbaits on the market, but they're affordable. So they're not $15, $20 crankbaits. Those would be the best ones on the market, and they work right out of the box 99.9% of the time. So that's why I stick with Strike King. Gene, why are you such a good fisherman? It's called time on the water. I spent a lot of time fishing, a lot of time studying it, and a lot of time. And one of the reasons I started making videos was so I could become a better fisherman. Made me learn more stuff. So, what's my PB in PR in Chickamauga? I'm assuming you say personal best. I think I caught 1.8 and some change. It's my biggest one on Chick so far. Should you get a Concept C as your first baitcaster? If you can afford it. But like I said, get one you can afford, especially for a first one, and a good smooth one. Anything Inception, the Origins, whatever. LUMS makes good reels for under $100. Whatever. Just one that you feel comfortable with. Do I use nail weights? I do sometimes. Excuse me. I actually used to make my nail weights out of steel coat hangers. I'd cut little pieces of coat hanger off and put them in my box. Now I use lead ones. So, how would you tackle blueback herring lake right now if you lived in South Carolina? with topwater is what I would do. I would always have a clear Super Spook Junior with a red treble hook on the front, laying on the deck ready to launch. And I would be fishing in areas where they were schooling. And if they weren't schooling, I would be fishing a jig on points and on humps and offshore still. They're about to start moving into the mouths of creeks, but they're not there yet. So that's what I would be doing. I'd also be dragging a Carolina rig until my arm fell off. How do I fish a lizard on a Texas rig? The same way you fish a worm. There's no difference. A soft plastic is a soft plastic is a soft plastic. You can fish any soft plastic on any soft plastic rig, like a Texas rig, a Carolina rig. It doesn't matter. I've thrown lizards on a drop shot. I've thrown lizards on a swim jig. It doesn't matter. You can fish it however you want to fish it. There's no rules to that. What do I think about the Teckle sprinkler frog? I think it's a whole lot of hype. I bought one this last week. I haven't used it yet. I'm actually going to use it this next week. But I think it's a lot of hype. So, Guntersville tomorrow, what would my plan be? Well, if I wasn't going to the dentist tomorrow, I'd be in Guntersville. And I would be fishing, I'd still be fishing at that grass that's out on the main lake, but looking for that green, clean grass. I don't think they're up under those mats yet. The next time I go, I'm going to head back into some deep pockets and see if there's any fish back there I can catch on a frog. Let's see. Best swim bait? That's hard to say. It really is. I'm a huge fan of the Mike Buca bull shad, mainly because he's a very, very good friend of mine. Has been since long before the bull shad was even a glimmer in his eye, and so I'm a huge fan of that. But I'm not partial. Let's see. Carter Walls, can you fish? Sometimes the fish have to get the best of me. Have I ever fished Pickwick in Alabama? Yes, I love Pickwick. I've never had a bad day on Pickwick. Keep up the good work. Love the channel. You got me into bass fishing. I'm thankful for that. Thanks, Dawson. I appreciate it. I don't know what's up with my throat. Sorry, guys. When is the bull shad good on Guntersville? Literally, the only time I would not fish a bull shad on Guntersville is dead of the summer. Mainly because I don't have any confidence in it in the summertime. I would fish it all winter long. I'd fish it in the fall. There's gizzard shad there. They're all really big, and I'd be, if I was a diehard swim bait guy, that's all I would be throwing here along the Tennessee River, are the bull shads. Are you going to come out with your own rod from 13 Fishing? I actually have designed a rod for 13 Fishing. It's in their Muse black line. It's a 6-foot 5-inch heavy action frog rod. You're going to see it in some upcoming videos now that frog season's finally hit here in the South. But and it is an amazing rod. I've already made one video just about that rod. But as for my own line, no, I don't. 13 really doesn't get into all that put your name on a rod type crap. Mainly, I just want to design rods that work, and I don't feel like I need to put my name on them. I really don't. It's not something I've really ever aspired to do. Let's see. Thanks, Jason. I appreciate it, man. When is the update coming for the Concept Z reel? I said that a little bit earlier, but in December. Late December, early January. Just before they come out is when I get mine. So I'll have a lot of fishing time on that thing. Fall cold fronts, would you fish the sunny side or the shade? Love your work. Wow. It's hard to say. I don't really pay much attention in the fall. I don't pay attention to shade. I look more for cover, and I don't really pay attention to whether the sun's on it or not, because they're going to be in that cover feeding up. How far out from the bank do you fish a point without a graph? Far as I can. I actually, to be honest with you, I didn't really start using a fish finder as a fish finder till about 4 years ago. I used the map. If you can learn how to read a good topo map, whether it be a paper map or one on an app on your phone or whatever, you can really do really good at fishing. One of the best fishermen I've ever met and ever fished with, Bobby Smith, was my fishing partner for 13, 14 years. He never used his fish finder. He only fished off of a map, and he won countless tournaments on Clark's Hill. So, you know, the biggest skill you could possibly learn is how to use a topo map to find fish. And I've got a good video about reading a topo map. Maybe I should do one a little bit better that's about how to find fish using a topo map. That would be really cool. Never fished the New River in West Virginia? Not yet. I have been invited. Let's see. Do you know if the Z bearings are going to be available separately? They will be available separately in kits for the Concept AZ, for all the concept reels that I know of so far. I don't know about having different sizes for other brands of reels. Maybe. I don't know. What is my favorite fish to catch, and how do you feel about... I don't know what that is. My favorite fish to catch would be... I don't know. I like to catch bass. Is my favorite. Is there a species you would love to catch? Yeah, I'd love to catch a tarpon, to be honest with you. And I probably will have that chance in the next year. Who knows? I haven't been to Clark Hill since I moved from there a year and a half ago. Come to Delaware and fish LUMS Pond. I never catch anything smaller than 3 pounds. Wow. In Delaware. That's awesome. Will UGA beat Notre Dame this weekend? I haven't watched Notre Dame play, but I think so. I really like their little freshman backup quarterback. He was pretty good the other day. So, thanks, Ben. Lures for deep, super clear strip mine lakes. Sea monsters cruising around. You're the reason I'm fishing obsessed now. Come fish Illinois. Man, super clear. Always, no matter what lake it is, downsize your line to as light as you think you can get away with. Fluorocarbon line, small hooks, small baits, clear baits. If you can hold it up to the sun and see the sun through it, that's what you want to be fishing. Greens, clears, and whites, and stay natural. Crawfish patterns, don't not use those, and fish those real close to the rocks where the crawfish hang out. So. The Baitman TV, how about them dogs? That's what I'm talking about. Have I fished any North Carolina lakes? Not in a long time. My least favorite lure and why? The Cinco, because it costs too much and it don't last long enough. It's the only reason. It catches the snot out of fish. So it is what it is. When am I coming back to Nashville, Andrew? I don't know. Not any plans yet, but I probably won't be long since Chad lives there. And he's my partner. What do I think about ice fishing? I love the hunt. I love going and drilling holes and finding fish and drilling holes and finding fish. Sitting in a box staring at a hole is no fun. I won't do that again. That's what I think about ice fishing. What's the best lure to start my kids on? Wow. Spinnerbait, probably a small little pond spinnerbait is what I would start them on. That and a little Texas rig, a little. My kids love to fish a shaky head, so, and that was one of Jake's first baits. From Argentina, thanks, Sebastian. That's freaking awesome. Ever coming to Mexico, to New Mexico? Don't have any plans yet. I'm pretty sure I will. Because I have a family and 4 kids, it's hard to get away as much as those those guys who don't have any kids. Let me find some. Still liking the Garmins. I do like the Garmins. I'm having a little bit of issue with the networking part of it, but I think that's more user error than it is the Garmins. I love the mapping on it, and there's a couple other things I love on it, but it's so far so good. The jury's still out, but I you know, like I said, most of the problems I'm having are my own problems. I'm still getting to learn the system. What's the best braided line? I can tell you that Power Pro makes good line. Don't buy it in bulk because for some reason there's always a couple of bad spots in their bulk spools. But Seaguar, I am so happy with the Smackdown that I've been using this year. It hadn't given me any problems. I really, really like it. And so it's not cheap, but I really like Smackdown. Have I had issues with 10-pound Seaguar Smackdown breaking particularly well up on the main line? I don't fish 10-pound braid. I usually start at 20, maybe 15, 20, and then up to 40 or 50. So I've never fished 10-pound. What do I use in late summer and early fall? Is going to start moving into those moving baits, crankbaits and spinnerbaits. What's a 3DB? The knuckle bait. I don't know what that one is. Yeah, the Seaguar flippin braid is pretty good, man. That's awesome. Catch more bass on Texas rig. Yeah, what length is best for a kayak? At least 12 feet, 12 to 14 feet, depending on what you want. The best thing is just to make sure that it's as stable as you want it. And like I always say, get into one first. Don't go buy one without getting into one and trying different types out and figuring out what you want. Because everybody, it's like a different pair of shoes. Everybody likes certain things, and I may not like the shoes you have. Same thing with the kayaks. So thanks, Brian and Wyatt. Appreciate it. What's a good search bait for grass and moss? If I'm getting it down into the grass and moss, I'm going to throw a Mojo rig, which is an ultralight Carolina rig, is what I'm going to throw. So, or just something over top of it, like a fluke or a spinnerbait. What's my favorite night bait? Actually, it's a jig with rattles. This is my favorite night bait. All right, Patrick, let me see what you're saying. But help picking a rod for a reel. What length is a good one to learn on? It'll probably be for drop shots. 7-foot spinning rod. It's going to be a 7-foot medium light action spinning rod for drop shots. I would start off with a medium though, if you're gonna, since it's something to start off with, I would get something that's a little bit that can cover a lot more than just a drop shot and a shaky head. But a medium light is a great shaky head rod for light shaky heads and great for drop shot. So definitely. Jerry asked, Ned rig or shaky head on tough days? Yes, Ned rig. Don't let me forget about that. It's always in my boat and I always use it, but I always forget to talk about it. Absolutely an amazing bait for any kind of situation where you got finicky fish. Let's see, what's the best all-around pull? Drew, your coaster is out in my barn. Dadgum, I wish I had it here. It's actually, I use it every day when I'm out in my barn. My drink's on it, matter of fact, the one I was drinking earlier when it was hot. I really appreciate it. He made me a coaster with my logo on it. What is the best method for suspended bass in deep water? I know how to do it. I've never been able to, but a spy bait is a really good bait for suspended fish. Oh my gosh, we've been doing this for 43 minutes, guys. Goodness gracious. Best frog fishing combo for a decent price. To be honest with you, I'm a fan of short rods. If you can find a 7-foot or less heavy action rod, you'd be golden. That's why I designed that one for 13. That's a 6.5 heavy. Let's see, buzzbait or popper? Buzzbait, especially in the fall. Would I recommend using a small offset hook for a drop shot or stick to mosquito style? I use a small offset when I'm fishing into cover. So if I'm flipping a drop shot into deep cover or shallow cover or anything, I'm going to switch up to an offset. And it'll work just fine. So, no, never tried to make my own plastics. Best bait for ginclear pond would be anything light line, drop shot, shaky head, small type lures is what I would recommend. I always let the bass tell me exactly what they want. For general bass fishing, what type of line would I use? I don't know what general bass fishing is, but if I had to only pick one line, it would be a cheap line. It would be one that I can replace all the time, so it would be like a monofilament. How would I target Lake Russell right now? I don't know. I have not fished Lake Russell in many, many years. Any tips for Del Hollow? I haven't. I've only been in Del Hollow that one time, so I have no clue. about this time of the year. I do need to get up there though, man. I want to whack some smallmouth. I know I don't ever use a metal leader, Adam. I don't. When does frog fishing start? On Guntersville, it should start any day now. It's usually late summer in the south. Now, if you go up north, it's right now. It's been for a while. So, but here in the south, Guntersville, Chickamauga, anywhere in Georgia, that kind of stuff, it should start any day now and go through October, November. Any tips in fishing in the rain? Wear rain gear because the fish are already wet. They don't care. I usually go, while it's raining, I'll go with something that's a moving bait just because it's easier to fish and I tend to get more bites. Once the rain stops, sometimes they shut off, sometimes they turn on. And so it's just hard to tell. I don't even know why they do it. I don't have an answer for that. Do I ever tournament fish? Very rarely. I'm fishing the only one I've got planned right now is, of course, the Mystery Tackle Box tournaments, but I've got the Spro Frog tournament on Lake Guntersville coming up the first week in October. I'll be doing that one. I'll be making a couple of videos about it, so that'll be fun. You'll see a lot of frog fishing here coming up because that's what I'm going to be focusing on. What's the best swim bait for an underspin? If I want small, I'm going to go with a Super Spook or Super Fluke Junior. But if I want a really big one, I like the Strike King caffeine shads without the paddle tail, the little straight tail ones. I don't like. I've tried them with paddle tails. I've never had much luck with a fish head spin on a paddle tail. Usually I like something with a fork tail or a straight tail. Can I do this? Steven asks, can I do this webcast weekly? I am going to try my hardest to do it every Friday night. We'll see. It's going to be every Thursday night, every Friday night. I'm doing it right now because I don't have any videos ready to launch. My internet's been down. I've been working around the house and haven't been able to do anything. I've got several videos coming up that are going to be sponsor videos. I got to do a JJ's Magic video, a couple of other ones, and so I just wanted to get this one going. So yeah, they're going to be weekly, brother. It's really I can't wait. I really need to do them. Can I explain why I would rig a fluke upside down? I rig a fluke upside down because of the action. It actually will, if you rig it perfectly straight and upside down, it will keep that fluke down a little bit better, and you can actually fish it a lot slower and get a nice little wiggle to it when you're fishing it really, really slow. I just have more luck with it upside down, and that's the whole reason. Let's see, Texas rig fishing tips. Dude, I've got tons of Texas rig videos. Is the best thing I can tell you. Go watch those videos. I think I've got 4, maybe 5 of them. And the Texas rig is basically, I call it the ATV of bass fishing. Just get out, flip it cover, drag it around, hop it. You can do whatever you want to with it. It's going to catch fish if you match the fish's mood. What is your favorite season to fish of the year? My only not favorite season is dead of the summer right now. And other than that, I love it. Fall, winter, summer. I love fishing winter time. It's probably one of my favorite times to fish. Best spotted bass bait for the fall. I'm going to say a small spinnerbait is what I would throw for spotted bass, and I would throw it and fish it fast. I mean, really fast. And burn it just under the surface and watch what happens. Logan says it's a tough day on Chickamauga. What location do you target, and what is your go-to rig? I'm going to go hit the deeper points, and I've got a couple of spots that I found just recently that are really, really small ledges, and I'm going to go hit those because there's always at least one fish I can catch off those ledges. And no, I'm not giving those spots away. I'm talking tiny, smaller than my boat. The Concept Z should be out, Noah, in February is what they're saying. So I would plan on it being March, just because that's the way it always seems to be around the fishing world. What's a good bait technique to try in grass and pads during hot days when they're not eating soft plastics or frogs? A floating worm is what I would throw, and I would throw it either a black one or a bright pink or methylate one is what I would throw. and it would be weightless. How would you fish an underspin with a fluke? I've been wanting to make a video about it. I got very little confidence in an underspin. I know how to fish it, and I'm not going to sit here and tell you the right way to fish it because I haven't figured that out yet. So that's one of those things that I draw a complete mental block. I've got a ton. I mean, the guy that owns Fish Head Spin lives right over the mountain from me. I'm 2 miles that way, and I have had the hardest time getting any confidence in that bait this year. So I'm sorry I can't answer that question. Let's see. We're going to go for about 5 more minutes. What's the best method of fishing a reservoir that empties and fills quickly? Oh gosh. That reminds me of Altoona. It does that too. I usually just fish offshore, and of course that's what my confidence is. But when the water's rising, they're going to be shallow, and when it's falling, they're going to be pulled out and suspended. It's going to be tough fishing. Gene, how can I fish with you? One of the things that I'm trying to keep secret about next year is going to be more opportunities to win fishing trips with me. And so stay tuned for that announcement. We're still working on all the details, me and Chad Hoover and a couple other guys. But next year is going to be absolutely amazing. I'm going to change gears. I'm still going to be doing my instructionals, but I'm going to be doing a whole lot more stuff with subscribers and things like that. So going to be pretty neat. What is better, Gary Yamamoto Sinkos or Yum Dingers? For catching fish, Gary Yamamoto Sinkos. For saving money, Yum Dingers. What part of Georgia are you living in? I'm in Rome, Georgia, Northwest. The Lose Mock Crush. I've never even looked at it. I don't know. I need to get out more. What's the best method for fishing a high-pressured lake? Slow down, get finessey. A Ned rig is one of the best high-pressured lake baits there is. And fish it with the TRD, with the Z-Man TRD, and you will find out that you'll catch a lot more fish with it, no matter where you are. No, I'm not sponsored by them. That's just the way it is. I don't fish. I don't go on a boat without it. I don't go on a kayak without it. I don't go fishing without a Ned rig somewhere. So thanks, chat, man. Appreciate the $5, brother. David, you too, man. You guys are awesome. I may donate this money to hurricane relief or to special ops survivor that I make on this deal. Why would you use a buzz bait when whopper ploppers get the same bites, but what better hookup ratios? Okay, this is a good opportunity to tell you guys the difference between a buzz bait and a whopper plopper. A whopper plopper shines on windy days. When it is windy outside, there's chop on the water, or there's even a ripple on the water, a whopper plopper shines. A buzz bait will outcatch a whopper plopper any day of the week when it's slick calm. Don't ask why. I don't know. I have no clue why why it is that way. But I'm telling you, if there's slick calm water and you're getting the bubbles behind the blade that are staying up, a buzz bait works so much better than a whopper plopper. I don't know. Just me. Slamerican Possum. Is that really your screen name? That's cool. Thanks, Sebastian. Really appreciate it. Man, I miss him. He was so much, Ryan was so much fun to have during these things. Plus, he could read faster than me. So, my favorite chatterbait, Chris, is the Z-Man Project Z chatterbait. It's just, to me, it's flawless. Origin C or Origin TX or both. They're about the same reel. I haven't looked at the differences between the two, but they're both dynamite reels. I actually am a Concept A fan, so only thing I don't like about a C is it's white, so it shows a lot of the dirt and junk, because I am not nice to my reels. They come back nasty and dirty and greasy. So Brandon caught his first whopper plopper fish today. Congratulations, Brandon. Smith Lake. I haven't fished Smith Lake in a long time. I only fished it for half a day, so I wouldn't even say I fished it. I just kind of went on a boat ride. Can I fish Patoka? I will show you. I'll have to write that down and see if I can get to Patoka one day. Ryan's mom's doing well. Talked to my wife's been talking to her on and off lately, so we should see her in the next couple of weeks. They just moved into a house about 40 minutes from us, right down south from us. So, thanks for asking. Do I ever fish for trout, and do I need and do you need water to fish? Of course you need water to fish. Yeah, I haven't fished for trout in a long time, but yeah, I grew up trout fishing. So, man, I'm not reading fast enough. Best length to learn to throw a baitcaster. Oh, to learn to throw a baitcaster. I just use a 7-foot medium heavy, and that's what I would start with. Learn how to throw one. Definitely. The 3 must-have rods. A medium light action spinning rod, a medium action baitcaster, and a medium heavy action baitcaster. And then branch out from there. The 3 I would start off with. Lengths, I would keep them all around 7 foot, 7'3". Go around the back.
Oh, okay.
Jake can't get in the bar, and I locked it from the inside.
What's the rest of my water? I think you're going to be sleeping on what tonight?
Favorite fall jig trailer. Jake, I'm doing a live right now.
Sorry.
Yes. I've got a 15-year-old who
Don't.
has no respect.
Nope.
Favorite fall jig trailer would be a Rage Craw. I want as much chop as I can get. Have I ever fished Carter's Lake? Only once, and you can go watch that video. It was the one on the floating fly in the dead of the winter. My favorite fish to eat is going to be freshwater is going to be a crappie. Green rods from 13 will be available, I think, in November. I think that's what I remember seeing on Tackle Warehouse. What's my favorite fish? Mine is a bass. Yeah, mine's bass, definitely. All right, we're going to do this for about another minute. Baitcasters is jamming. It's not. Would I recommend P-line floral clear? No. I've heard too many people having too many issues with P-line floral clear. Seaguar has given me very few problems over the, 12 years I've been using it. Best size flipping hook for punching. I like a 3/0 because I like to punch with small baits. The Gambler Cricket is my favorite punching bait. It's a small little profile, goes through thick cover really good. Or a Rage, what do they call them? A cutter worm is another one of my favorite flipping baits. If they want something bigger, because it's just a straight worm with a paddle tail, punches through, gets bit. I love it, absolutely. McDonald's or Burger King fries? I don't know. I don't like either one of them. Do I still have any ducket rods? I don't think I do. I haven't looked. I have a shelf up in my top of my barn that I keep rods on. So I might have 1 or 2 of them up there, but I doubt it. If they are, they're broken. Last question. Let's see. I've always been taught to drop the pole and wait to set the hook when the line takes off after the thumper ticks. Am I waiting too long? Yes. That's old school. That's what they used to do when the worms were huge and they were solid as a rock. They weren't as soft as they are now. That's the way people fished live bait like shiners way back in the day. So no. Basically what you do is you feel the bite, drop it quick, and set the hook. Unless you're fishing something like swimming a worm. There's certain techniques. I've got a really good video on hook sets. That I cover a lot of different things. But the one I would drop the rod and point the rod towards the fish first is if I'm swimming a soft plastic. So say I'm swimming a worm or swimming a fluke or whatever, and the bass hits, I'm going to drop and point my rod at the bass, and then I'm going to set the hook. But I'm not going to wait too long. Anyway, guys, thanks. I appreciate it. It's been an hour. My voice is about done. Got out of over a cold last week. I don't think that's my problem, but starting to get a sore throat. But anyway. Look forward to some really cool stuff coming up in the future. I'm going to sit down tomorrow and make a JJ's Magic video for you, show you guys how I paint my flukes and how I do all my artwork on all my soft plastics on JJ's, how I use it to catch fish off the bed a whole lot better. I'm excited about that video, and I get to stink up my barn while I do it. It may sound funny because I got to go to the dentist tomorrow, so they can fix that stupid filling that they screwed up. But anyway, so that's about it. Steven, take it easy, brother. Good seeing you. You guys look forward to some really cool stuff coming up. We'll take it easy. Like I always say, be sure to introduce somebody to fishing. Introduce them to my channel. Let me help you teach them how to fish. More importantly, get out on the water, go out and catch some fish. Have a great day. We'll see you.